Mic check, testing. Well, welcome. Thank you very much for joining me. So we're just outside of Gothland and we're heading this way down to the waterfalls to see if we can get some long exposure photography. NiSi have really kindly sent me this kit, which is absolutely fantastic. It's called the NiSi Swift filter system, and I'm just going to put it through its paces today. And I thought, what better place to do it than Gothland's beautiful waterfalls. So, first order of the day today was to get some new wellies, because I found out on my last attempt for this vlog that there wasn't waterproof anymore. So yeah, so we found out that not only were my wellies not waterproof, but neither are these. So that was first order of the day. And I quite like to find some compositions today that are a little bit more complex to the ones that I've got in my portfolio. And the first one, I can't remember the name of it, that is just down here. There's about 3 actually that I'd quite like to visit, but we'll do one at a time and see how we go. So we're on about 5 o'clock now, and I was hoping for it to be a bit moodier in weather than what it is today, but it's not as yet. So just have to wait and see how we get on. But I've got loads to tell you. I thought maybe I'd just have this first video as a bit of a hello and a bit of a catch-up video really, and just explain where I've been, what I've been up to and all that jazz. So I've got one camera, the Z7 II, one lens, the 20-70 f4. I've got a makeshift tripod that has a NiSi Swift system permanently attached to it, and a brie bacon and chili chutney sarnie. So I think we're going to be on the winning team today. I do think I need to attach this tripod in here somehow. So I've got a new vlogging camera as well. So the camera that I'm filming you on is the Sony ZS. I think it's the. Let's have a look. The Sony ZV-10, and seems to me like it's pretty damn cool. Now, I did try this vlog last week and didn't get very far. I was shooting with a Z6 II, and I just a bit big for what we're doing, and I just found it a little bit cumbersome. So we've invested in this bad boy. But I'm going to ramble less and walk more, and see if we can get to this waterfall and see if we can get some shots with this new system. annoying. So I usually pack my bum here for 5 minutes, but someone's proceeded to vandalise it, I think. I don't mean all humans, just humans as a species. I dislike them sometimes, I tell you. Just no need for that. Just pulled all the bars out and probably had a bit of a camp and just destroyed it, which is great, isn't it? What's his name? Adam Gibbs. He was facing a similar thing. He said, you know, a lot of these areas we showcase as photographers, and it just means that it puts it at risk of damage if we're not careful. So I don't disclose any locations if I can help it. Just rough guides. But since COVID, everyone's sort of come into the countryside, I think, and you can see the impacts, that's for sure. I'm ready for everyone to go back to Spain now, so hopefully this year this is what they're doing. But yeah, anyway, less rambling, we're nearly here. I've got a bit to talk about. I've got a lovely little kit to show you. I've left my sandwich in my flipping bike, didn't I? So I ain't even got a sandwich with me, but I shouldn't really anyway, because I had my sarnie. Well, I've had one of the sandwiches before I picked up the camera, so Jimmy doesn't need it. Jimmy needs to be doing more walking, less talking, and more photos, I think. Don't you just love the North York moors? I forget just how lucky I am being here, you know. You know, these things I see all the time, and I try my very hardest not to take it for granted, because this is probably one of the nicest parts of the country, and a moment to feel blessed should be something that you should do regularly. Doesn't matter where you are or what you're doing, there's always something in there to be grateful for, but more so I think in the North York moors. So we're here, we're on the precarious sort of wander down, and just being extra cautious not to do any slippy slides, because I've managed to not this time. So I think what I'm going to do, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you down for a second. I'm going to get myself to there, and then we'll get talking. I'm really worried that you're not going to be able to hear me when we get down there, because it's really loud, is that waterfall. But I'm sure we'll come up with something. Well, we're here. We are here today to test out the NiSi Swift kit, and what better place to do it than the waterfalls just outside of Gothland at a place called Beckhall. I can't for the life of me remember the name of this particular waterfall, but it is absolutely gorgeous. So I've been away for quite a while. I've been practicing the craft of photography alone. That's the best way to describe it. Been busy with a few photography jobs and all that kind of stuff, but I've cleared the calendar and I've made space for YouTube, because it was like a big gaping hole and I really bloody missed it. So it's good to be back. Anyway, less of the rambling, more of this beautiful specimen. So there's a couple of compositions that I've just been looking at this morning, and I'll pop them on the screen for you now. So I'm more interested in the little cascades and that sort of thing. There's a couple of ways down to the bottom that I'm interested in having a look at, and yeah, should be good. Well, I've had to step away from the waterfall because it's absolutely deafening. But we've got a shot lined up. I think it looks quite nice. So we've got the NiSi freestop ND filter and the circular polarizer, and these are part of that pressure swift system that I showed you in the B-roll a moment ago. And I'm just going to try with a couple of different exposures. So really I want to be going for maybe 1/4 of a second, something like that, to get a little bit of movement in the water. But I also really fancy getting one of them really silky smooth shots. So what I've done is I've twisted the polarizer to take any glare out of the water, and then I've stuck it on about a 3-second exposure just to get a bit of smoky delight, which is made possible with this system. But without further ado, I'll pop the first shot on for you now. So maybe an hour and a half has gone. I'm getting eaten alive at the moment by midges. I just wanted to touch on what I've been up to, really. So I've got lost in the present moment. That's what photography is about. And I've just been dottering about in this little area here. I've kept myself over here because it's really, really dangerous and slippy, and I'm on my own and I've got no signal. It's pretty down deep down there, and I do fancy going home tonight, so confine myself to this little safe area. And I've just been poking into little areas on the waterfall, see if there's any nice compositions. And this sort of photography has been closed off to me for a long time because I refuse to use a filter system that irritates me. Because by the time you've got your filters stuck on your lens and then you've managed to get it off and all that rubbish, you're no longer in a creative space. Now, I contacted NiSi and asked if they would be willing to send me this system out after seeing it in the field, and I'm absolutely blown away by it, to be honest. I've shown you the B-roll, but this is where we're at. That's it. That's the faff over and done with. Now, that's a fucking win if you ask. That's a win if you ask me. And then on top of that, you got your little bag that lives permanently on your tripod, and that tripod then lives under my bike. And whenever I see a shot, my camera's already set up with me filters to hand, and I can just hop off my motorbike, take a quick shot, stick it back under the seat, bish bash bosh, no messing about. And that's what filters are meant to be. If a filter system gets in your way and you have to think about using it, don't use it. That's kind of how I've built my photography, because like I said, if you've got a filter system that's a pain in the backside, or it's too bloody expensive so you're too scared to use it, then just don't bother. Just don't bother. Adapt your photography to areas that you can happily enjoy. But I can honestly say, since getting this system, my love of long exposure photography has just hit the roof. I won't go on about image quality. I think I'm just going to let you be the judge of that. So I'll pop some images on now. The first one's going to be the raw image, followed by what my creative spin on this environment here. Now, I place myself in a artistic area of photography rather than a realism, very realistic style, and I don't know what you will call that. So when I'm editing, if I'm in a bad mood, you're going to get a grumpy edit, or if I just like to express myself within the image in some manner through what I photograph and how I edit it as well. So if the images are completely different to the raw, that's why. But without further ado, here are some of the images for you to enjoy.
It's not a mix-up, so bad talking, open wounds, heavy breathing and overeating has suddenly left me. Talking to myself after a bottle of wine is like inviting every spirit. Oh, I am you and you are me. How is that not strange? Oh, I don't wanna sit just to sit, but my healer told me your inner world will unfold just like that. It's a fact that we can't be foolish for too long. I think I've written every song. Soon, from here on to the moon, I run to overcome